Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining here at Unapologetic Progressive. Once again, I am back with another video. And again, we are brought to you by Dubby Energy. Check the link in the description below to save 10% at checkout. Now, we're going to talk about a few different things in this video. And it's all going to be basically my opinion for the most part. We're not going to be delving too much into facts. It's just going to be how I see things. But first off, let's do a little update about the channel. A few weeks ago, we seemed to be doing really good. We hit a high of almost 1,000 views on one video, over 650 on another video, and we did really well. We were doing really well. I literally made, 15 bucks um, during that time frame because I went from having literally $1 in my YouTube account to having $16. One person during that time frame did send a $2 super thanks, so thank you. Um, and I thought that was really awesome. But right now, my YouTube channel is not doing well. I've never been much about making money on this channel. I've literally got 2 paychecks from YouTube over the decade that I've been doing this. I typically do this stuff not just because, I want to make money or something. I do this because I like putting out information. I try to be honest with people. I try to put out the most factual information possible. Because I believe too many places on the internet and too many places on YouTube are aren't giving you that, right? I don't believe places like TYT are giving you factual information as much anymore. There are a lot of places online where you just get lies, and when someone is wrong, they don't fix it. They don't you know say that, hey, I made a mistake. Now, somebody did kind of make a joke the other day when I got something wrong, and they were like, "You're unapologetic progressive, but you apologized." Now, let's be very clear. I apologize because I got something wrong. The thing is, I'm still not apologizing for the gist of what I have to say, right? For my views on politics. I'm not going to apologize for that. Will I make a mistake here and there? Will I fess up to it when I'm notified that I have made a mistake? Yeah. Yes, I will. I do that anytime every time I make a mistake on this channel. Now, I'm not going to sit here and apologize for my views, but I will say, hey, hey, I made a mistake when I've made one. Now, I've had some people come on here and try to tell me I'm a liar simply because I got something wrong or because it disagrees with their worldview. And here's the thing. People make mistakes. It happens all the time. And if you think by any stretch of the imagination that you are somehow perfect and have never made a mistake, you're a liar. It's that simple. I know I get things wrong, and I fess up when I do. Um, to be clear, this is a one-person show right here. There's no one, I have no one to help me. No one, edits the video. No one does my research. I do the research I have time to do, and then I make videos. And that's what I do. Sometimes I get it wrong. Sometimes the information I find ends up being incorrect. Like on the video I made about the ballroom. I made a video about that ballroom that Donald Trump was building. The articles I read stated very clearly that um, Trump was no longer paying for it. At no point in any of those articles did they say that Trump's money had been replaced with donor money. So I got that part wrong. As somebody else pointed out, though, people still should not be donating money to build the ballroom, right? Because people donating to build the ballroom is basically donating to Donald Trump's ego and donating in ways to make a bribe, basically, to give them access to the president and to power. And that's exactly what's going on. So, to you who made that comment, I can't remember your name at this point in time, but to you that made that comment, you're absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. Because that's how corrupt Donald Trump is. Donald Trump is all about enriching himself and trying to sell influence. That's his goal. He wants to make money off of you and off of me and off of this country. That's just what he wants to do. And am I ignoring that fact? No. It's just there's not much I can do when that is the way the game is being played at the moment. So it's not that I intentionally omitted that. I guess I get stuck sometimes in this rut where I think other people understand and that they understand the things that are unsaid. And I learned in 2024 when that election came up that clearly myself and several members on of the left thought the same thing, right? That we're like, how could we have explained things any better? Clearly, there was a disconnect between things that I was saying and what other people on the left were saying heading into that 2024 election that wasn't being conveyed to the people that are watching our content or that we're seeing that were, gonna vote, right? And unfortunately, that's true. That's just how it goes. Sometimes messaging just falls short. And I think what happens with people who spend a lot of time in politics, I think we get a little complacent, right? Thinking that other people understand what we understand. And the fact is, other people don't understand what we may understand. And so that's not to make excuses for getting anything wrong, but that's why sometimes you may not get some details you're expecting to hear. Like, I thought it was pretty obvious that by Trump taking donations to build a ballroom, that he was obviously selling influence and selling access to power. I thought that was kind of obvious just by him doing it, right? Clearly, as I have learned, I need to get better. I need to do better when it comes to that. And every day I try to be a little better on this channel. I try. And so that's a little bit of an update for this channel. Now, let's talk about some of the stuff going on in current news. Of course, the government shutdown is over. Funding has started going out to people. People are getting their full SNAP benefits again. And I don't know how long for some people. I know here in Oklahoma, the people I know on SNAP have received their SNAP benefits. Air traffic controllers are back, getting back on the job. So Security's back on the job. I was actually able to get a hold of Social Security today. And I was on hold for less than 2 hours, so that was rather amazing. And so the government shutdown is over, and people are being able to get back to work. The question is, are those people going to get their back pay? I haven't seen any information telling me whether they were or weren't going to get their back pay for the furloughed workers or those that were working during the government shutdown. I hope those people get their money that they are supposed to get. You're right, because even the furloughed workers were supposed to get some sort of back pay um, while they were, you know, out of work. Why? Because those people we rely on those people to get things done in this country, and without them, things go into chaos as we saw. So if he goes off and doesn't pay those people, they have to go find new jobs. That means when the government would reopen, those people would be gone, and you have to rehire everyone, which would cause chaos. So hopefully they get paid. Like I said, if you know anything about it, let me know. Because like I said, I haven't seen anything on it. Now, the big news that we're going to talk about in this video, and this is a bit of a doozy, has to do with Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Now, this would go in a totally separate video. We'll talk more about it next week in a separate video. But have you seen the emails? Now, when I first saw the first few emails I saw from it, and then I went, looked at and stuff. It talked about, basically how Donald Trump, basically hadn't was the dog that hadn't barked yet. Basically, I'm guessing hadn't turned and hadn't, talked about Jeffrey Epstein. I guess was the whole thing in that email. And the thing is, though, we also saw emails between Jeffrey Epstein and Michael Wolff, I believe his name was, um, that implicates Donald Trump pretty strongly in at least, if not being completely active in the sex trafficking ring, um, he knew about it, right? And these emails go as recently as 2017. And we'll talk about why that matters in a minute. But the thing is, Donald Trump spent hours upon hours, according to Jeffrey Epstein, with at least one victim of his sex trafficking ring. At least one. For hours. And those are the first ones I saw, right? Talking about how Donald Trump hadn't barked yet. I guess hadn't turned on Jeffrey Epstein at that point. Um, that was an email from 2011, I believe. And then more with Michael Wolff involved, um, them trying to figure out basically how to use Donald Trump to their advantage, right? Next week, like I said, I'm going to do a more of a breakdown of all this. I'll download some of the emails and we will discuss them. But honestly, if you don't think Donald Trump is on that list somewhere or not strongly connected to Epstein and his disgusting little sex ring, then you're clearly not paying attention to the evidence that you're seeing, right? Because I know a number of people that I have liked over the years are part of Jeffrey Epstein, and I've distanced myself from them entirely, right? People that I have supported and admired in the past, like Bill Clinton, right? I thought Bill Clinton was a great president. I thought he was a good person. And then I started hearing about the sleazy, slimy, disgusting crap he had done and how he was attached to Jeffrey Epstein and probably doing things, he probably shouldn't have. Now, we have no evidence to prove right now that Bill Clinton or Donald Trump did anything to these girls. But being in that close proximity and hanging out with them for hours upon hours, and all the cases that have come against Trump since 2015 and before, tells you there's something there, right? I was always told growing up when you see smoke, that means there's fire. That's what I was taught. And so it seems to be true. Now, do I know what Donald Trump did to those girls? No. Do I want to know? Not really. But I do want to hear what the victims have to say. I want to know I want them to be able to tell their stories. I want to know who did these terrible things to them so we can put them in prison. Because let's not mince words here. If you are part of some sex trafficking ring, you are a disgusting human being. I don't care if that involves minors. I don't care if that involves adults. I don't care who it involves. If you are forcing people to prostitute themselves, then you are a terrible human being. That's just my opinion. Nobody should be forced to do sex work. I do believe sex work is legitimate work, and I support people in the industry that do that kind of work. But nobody should be forced to do that kind of work. That should be something someone chooses to do, not something they're forced to do. I'm just being clear. And I don't think Donald Trump understands the depths of how far these emails are probably going to go. Because there's a fun little tidbit in those files that tell me there might be something else going on. There's more being covered up than we know. Because in one of the emails that I was told about last night, and I found out and did some looking at it today, one of the emails from Epstein to Michael Wolff, I believe it was. No, it was to his brother, Michael Epstein. Um, Epstein's brother, asked him to talk to Trump about pictures. Ask him if Putin has pictures of Donald Trump giving oral to a guy named Bubba. Now, there's only one person that I can think of in the world of politics anyway, who would be referred to as Bubba, and that would be William Jefferson Clinton. So it seems like that may be more of why Donald Trump doesn't want people knowing what's in there. That's one of the things. I think he may find that to be embarrassing considering the party he is affiliated with, right? Personally, you do you. Whatever you want to do in your private time, that's fine. As long as it's consensual, I don't care. As long as you're dealing with adults and it's consensual, I don't care what you do. But when you're part of a party that doesn't condone such things, it's going to make it a little difficult for you, isn't it? But I don't think that's it. I think that's like the tip of the iceberg, right? We knew that Donald Trump was attached at the hip at one point to Jeffrey Epstein, right? We knew that. We know Donald Trump was at that island. We know Donald Trump flew on the Lolita Express, just like Bill Clinton and other people. Now, what we don't have is evidence that Trump did anything wrong. We don't have evidence that Bill Clinton did anything wrong. But we do know what that island was about. And so the assumption could be made that both those people, regardless of what we've heard, have possibly done terrible things to underage girls. And there are people out there defending Donald Trump with all this, defending Epstein even. You had Megyn Kelly just yesterday saying that Epstein wasn't a pedophile because he liked teenagers. And while factually correct, it doesn't change it. Just because you're pedo light doesn't change anything. You're still disgusting. But you got people out there defending Donald Trump and his actions with Jeffrey Epstein. I personally believe anybody associated with Jeffrey Epstein and his sex trafficking ring should go to prison. I don't care if they're a Democrat, a Republican, an independent. I don't care who they are. I don't care if they're a billionaire. I don't care if they're a janitor at his Palm Beach house. I don't care who the people were. Anyone who was involved in that sex trafficking ring run by Jeffrey Epstein or any other sex trafficking ring should be put in prison. There's no other way to put it. Like, I don't care how anyone sees it. My opinion is if you're involved in sex trafficking, you should go to prison. For life, no opportunity for parole. Just my opinion. Now, some people may disagree with me, think that it's not that serious, but I think it's extremely serious, especially when minors are involved. And remember, when they've gone after trans people over there on the right, their claim has been to protect children, even though the statistics show that that children are safer with a trans individual than they are with a priest. Right? But children aren't under threat from transgender people in general. Right? I absolutely understand that there are bad people in every crowd. There are bad people in every walk of life. There's good people and there's bad people. Right? But the fact is, they say when they make all these things against transgender people, all these laws and BS, you know, they're always saying it's to protect the kids. But when they actually have a chance to protect kids, they defend a pedophile. And Donald Trump has been known to like them extremely young. And he's bragged about, groping women without their consent, ogling teenage girls who are 16, 17 or so years old in the teen, USA pageant. So the the evidence is there. Strong evidence. It may be circumstantial, but very strong evidence that Trump indeed is a pedo. Now, Do we know that for a fact? No. But the evidence sure seems to point that way. Anyhow, that's really what I got for you today. It's a little bit longer video than recently. But anyhow, I'm going to put a link in the description to my TikTok page. If you want to be able to see more videos and quicker videos and things like that, check me out over on TikTok. I'll probably be uploading next week over there a lot more than you'll see me uploading here. I'm going to still try to reach for one video every day of Monday through Friday here, but I'm also going to be putting more content over there because I'm getting more traction over there, and I feel like since I'm getting traction there, I should at least focus more effort over there. But I'll share my link in the description below, and if you want to check me out over there, please do. Um, and I know some people are wary of TikTok or whatever, but um, if you have a phone and you're able to access it, or a computer and you're able to access TikTok, please check me out over there. I could really use the followers because I would love to be able to um, have more of a presence, but also would love to be able to have a chance for, maybe revenue streams of some sort because we find ourselves in a very tight situation because of the government. Anyhow, I'll see you down the road.